Cold and rainy weather here at Boucher Field as we are set and getting ready under action for D3 Lacrosse women's play between the Huskies of the University of Southern Maine and your Eagles of Husson University. Hello, everybody. I'm Sam Miller, joined alongside Max Sturman, Logan Martin, three-man booth to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Logan, we'll start with you. Taking a look at the Huskies, 7-4 overall this year throughout the season, 2-1 in conference play, and a lot of that has been to do with the play of their junior from Pembroke, New Hampshire, number 9, Sierra Hill.
Yeah, she'll be exciting to watch in this one. 21 goals on the season, 11 assists, 31 shot percentage, on her career. Very impressive numbers as well. 52 goals, 22 assists, 37% shot percentage. The shot percentage is down, but the goals are definitely there. Look for her to be on the scoreboard today.
One of the most complete players in the Little Eastern Conference for the Huskies. She's going to be a very big piece, especially with their leading goal getter, Kaylin Diapolina, out of this game today. Now, Max, taking a look at the Eagles, 4-5 on the season, 3-1 in conference play. They have 117 goals on the year. This is a really well-balanced team up and down the roster. What can we expect from them today?
Yeah, well, the Eagles having a really good season once again here under Coach Amanda DeHaze. 3-1 in the conference, coming off of a 13-3 win over Thomas College, where Natalie Winton and Jordan Langle each netted a hat trick in that game. They are sitting second in the NAC standings today. I think with Diapolina out, you've really got to take advantage of the lack of offensive power. Of course, USM does have other players who are going to come in and be effective on the offensive side of the ball, but you take away Diapolina, the leading goal scorer. That's a huge hit for that Huskies team. Sierra Hill's going to attract a lot more attention today from some of the elite defenders like Jory Boyd, Maddie Benoit, and Jordan Lingle. The Eagles really have a good chance to come away with a win today if they play their best ball.
These two teams have quite the history, but it's also one of the most one-sided affairs in women's lacrosse, as the Eagles are 0-10 against the Huskies all time. So this will be a very interesting matchup between two teams who like to get up and down the field with high velocity. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back for starting lineups and the national anthem. We'll send it over to our PA announcer, Joe Swanson, and we'll be right back on the Husson Eagles Sports Network.
Boucher Field for tonight's game, featuring the Huskies of the University of Southern Maine and your Eagles of Husson University. Husson University would like to thank its corporate sponsors: Adidas, Decaf Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration Incorporated, Buffalo Wild Wings, Karen Signs, Casella, Chick-fil-A, Courtyard by Marriott Bangor, Creative Print Services, Cross Insurance, Sear Bus Line, Domino's, Down East Orthopedics, Dice Hearts, First National Bank, Gatorade, Greenway Equipment Sales, Hammer Lumber Company, Harvest Moon Deli, Hero Sports Grill and Entertainment Center, Holiday Inn, Pepsi, Pizzeria Uno, Ron's Moving, Saco Bay Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy, School Street Picture Framing Incorporated, Ticket Smarter, U.S. Air Force, Barney Buick GMC Mazda, and White Sporting Goods. The NCAA North Atlantic Conference and Husson University promote good sportsmanship by the student athletes, coaches, and spectators at tonight's contest. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from Boucher Field. The North Atlantic Conference and Division III Commissioners Association wish to recognize a very important part of today's contest as part of Officials Appreciation Week. As many are aware, there's a severe nationwide shortage of officials, including here in Maine. We are grateful for the officials we have that are working this evening's game. For without them, there would be no event for our student athletes. Their commitment to safe, fair, and competitive contests is a crucial part of the student-athlete experience. Thank you for tonight's officials for the role you play in collegiate athletics. And now, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First, for the visiting Huskies. A junior attack, number 1, Maddie Kinney. A junior attack, number 2, Reagan Bashard. A sophomore defender, number 3, Ashley Tobias. A junior defender, number 4, Brittany Hill. A sophomore defender, number 5, Lizzie Haley. A junior midfielder, number 9, Sierra Hill. A fifth-year midfielder, number 12, Kaya Gatchell. A sophomore midfielder, number 15, Eliza Pattershall. A senior attack, number 23, Elena Hanselman. A senior attack, number 23, Anna Byers. A freshman defender, number 24, Callista Keeney. And in goal, a senior, number 32, Lydia Laslavik. Southern Maine is under the direction of head coach Ashley Dirapo. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Husson University Eagles. A junior from Farmingdale, Maine, number 1, Avery Baker. A senior from Hyde Park, Vermont, number 5, Maddie Benoit. A senior from Georgia, Vermont, number 7, Sydney Heth. A junior from Baltimore, Maryland, number 10, Layla Martinez. A freshman from Shelburne, Vermont, number 11, Kate Bemke. A junior from Wilder, Vermont, number 12, Gracie Gardner. A senior from Reedfield, Maine, number 14, Natalie Witten. A senior from Concord, New Hampshire, number 15, Jordan Langle. A senior from Richmond, Rhode Island, number 17, Montana Carrier. A sophomore from Gora, Maine, number 19, Riley Menard. In goal, a senior from Lewiston, Maine, number 22, Emma Biggs. And a sophomore from Corinna, Maine, number 24, Jory Boyd. The Eagles are coached by Amanda DeHaze, and she's assisted by Caitlin Doloff. Fans, at this time, I ask you please rise and honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Set to get underway here at Boucher Field out of the national anthem. Both teams energized, primed, and ready to go. Max, you played lacrosse here for a couple of years prior to you coming to the broadcast here. Now, the field is a bit rainy. We've had some pretty weird weather all day today. The field is a little bit slick. How much does that come into play in a game like this?
I mean, it can affect players in a lot of ways, but I think the most common one is this turf gets a little bit slippery, so players might be a little bit careful early on about how they're moving their feet. But honestly, I think they're going to adjust well and they'll be able to run their plays. You practice in this weather too, so you eventually get used to it. But yeah, it does take a little bit of adjusting, especially since they've had a nice field all week that hasn't been super wet. But we'll see how they adjust. I assume both teams will probably get that down pretty quickly.
Now, if you want to talk about adjustments, these two teams are spearheaded by two of the best adjusting coaches in D3 lacrosse. First, let's look over at the Huskies. We have head coach Ashley Dirapo in her fourth season. She returned after coaching from 2018 to 2020. She left to go coach D1 lacrosse in Merrimack College in 2021. She was also a former player, a two-time All-American East Conference second team, and an AEC All-Rookie team at the University of New Hampshire. And she also coached in D2 Southern New Hampshire and Falmouth High School as well. Take a look over at the Eagles. Now, Amanda DeHaze, the head coach there, her third season started in 2023. She's 17-13 overall at Husson. She led the team to 2 North Atlantic Conference semifinals last year, and she's assisted by Kaylin Doloff as well. Now, guys, these two teams really haven't on the board if you look at it, and you look at it history-wise. As we talked about during pregame, USM has had Husson's number their last 10 matchups, 10-0 overall, so this should be a very interesting game.
Yeah, the last matchup was a close one. Husson came away or lost 11-14. Avery Baker had 4 goals in that one. So it's not like the games haven't been competitive, but certainly the Huskies have had the advantage.
Lengel and Hill will start in the draw control circle. Ball is up. We are underway. It is controlled by Pattershall, and here come the Huskies.
So it'll be interesting to see how they set up, if they're going to look to try and get it to Sierra Hill early on, or if they're going to spread it around and maybe throw the Eagles off a little bit. The Eagles, though, they run this zone defense, and there really isn't a lock-off on any particular player ever. So they're not going to try and force too much pressure on Sierra Hill. Maddie Benoit did a good job there, keeping her out of the shooting circle.
Benoit picking up a lot more woman coverage, doing one-on-one more defense this year. Had a chance to talk to her earlier this year about her more of a responsibility of a role on the team this year, being a captain and all. And she accepts it with open arms. She's been able to just adjust accordingly as the pass inside was good. And it looks like we had a goal score by Reagan Bouchard to break the ice for this game.
And so that's kind of what we've seen out of the Eagles on offense throughout the season, is that cutting inside and getting the pass delivered right in front of the net. That time the pass comes from behind the behind the goal, and Bouchard does a great job securing it and puts it over the top shoulder of Biggs. A tough spot for a goaltender to stop, especially on the opposite hand. And so the score is 1-0 here early on.
Two teams who love to play so fast throughout the duration of this game, love to use every angle and advantage of the field as much as possible. Once again, it'll be Lengel and Hill in the draw control circle. And in terms of some getting notables for the Huskies, they have been excellent at clearing the ball with 125 controls on 182 attempts, and they are 68% coming into this game, as once again is controlled by the Huskies and it's into the stick of Kaya Gatchel.
Yeah, transition has been in what is the most important part of the game of lacrosse. I don't care what you say. You're not going to make possessions if you don't have that good transition offense, as well as really good draw control, which the Huskies have done very well on both this year.
Gatchel has the ball right outside, looking to find a woman, gets into the stick of Pattershall, tries to make a move into the middle, cuts across some defenders, looks inside, gets into the stick of Maddie Kinney, the assist leader for this Huskies team. Outside the Byers, circling around.
Yeah, these Eagles got to watch the cuts through the middle there. Bouchard almost had it, or was wide open in the middle again. Good job on the outside perimeter to force that pass to not go to the right place. But you see again right there, another cut had an opportunity for the Huskies.
Out of bounds, the ball the ball goes back to the Eagles. That shot was attempted by Kinney, but Sydney Heth, the very mobile defender, right there to get in the way of the shot.
And so now this transition for the Eagles is the most important opportunity that they've had so far in this game. They have not had an offensive possession yet. This game is very early on, but haven't done well on those 2 draw controls. And so now that you're in the offensive zone, you got to settle it down and run your play.
Whitten trying to use that right-hand side of the field, tries to find a cutting Gracie Gardner in and out of the stick and into the stick, and corralled by Lydia Oslavik, who's having a fantastic year of her own. Oslavik this year, 64 saves, 65 with that one, a 39% save percentage, and has faced 223 shots this year. A very, very strong goal. The pass is intercepted by Gardner. She's got some room to operate. Double team by the defense. Good play right there. Whitten tries to go inside. Bumped out by a woman. Gets it out to Benoit. Benoit surveying. Gets into the stick of Lengel. With Gatchel trying to force the ball out.
Yeah, we're gonna get believe we're gonna have an actual card, a green card here. Lengel got smacked over the head with the stick while the Huskies were trying to defend her drive to the inside. Just tried to hit the head of the stick, but hit the head of the player instead. That one will be Kaya Gatchel.
Gatchel, one of the leaders in caused turnovers for this Huskies team with 15 on the year. Also, number 3 in ground balls with 24. Not having her on the field is huge for this Huskies team, which is already without Kaylin Diapolina, their leading goal getter, 33 goals on the year. Logan, missing someone like her, missing someone like Diapolina has to hurt quite a bit. But with people like Sierra Hill, Gottschall, Pattershall, you name it, this team is still very deep.
Yeah, and they're also well coached. So, there are a lot of players on this team that can produce in different ways. And on that first possession when they scored, just their movement off the ball and kind of lulling that defense to sleep and then finding the spot where they could sneak a goal, and it was pretty impressive.
That was a nice shot there by Avery Baker off the field, or the feed, from Jordan Langle. They were trying to make those cuts on the inside work, but a really good job by the goaltender over there to make the stop.
Slavic again, a great save from the heads-up play from Baker. Now the Huskies controlling the ball on their side once again. It seems like they've had a lot of opportunity to do so far in this game. That's normally how it is with these games, though. At first, just kind of shake the rust off a little bit, then after you're warmed up, things kind of get a bit more of a flow. As Sierra Hill is smacked by Benoit, ball is loose.
Yep, just a little bit too much contact from Benoit right there, so it'll be reset at the top. No true penalty, just a restart of the possession.
Kenny is used to works around that backhand side of the goal. Loves to operate down on that end into the stick of Pattershall. So try to survey the field into the stick of Elena Hanselman.
And against this zone defense, they're going to continue to make these quick passes. You see this double team coming in. That's going to open up opportunities on the far side of the field. Eagles do a really good job with Montana Carrier to recover and get back in position, but that's how you beat this Eagles team, is with fast passing.
Kinney tried to find a cutting Hill. Ball was knocked away. It's still Lewis, picked up by Kinney once again. Into Hill in the middle, tries to scoop it out, and into the stick of Began.
Yeah, good job right there by Jordan Langle, just getting in the way, disrupting the pass, and not allowing the cutter to get the ball and get a shot right there.
As we had, that was Langle operating up that right-hand side of the field.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the call was, but it's going to be a green card, so another woman-up opportunity for the Eagles here. This is their second of the game. And, Sam, you got to imagine that they would like to even the score and capitalize on this one.
And this would be the prime opportunity to do so, Max. I mean, like you mentioned, 2 women out already early on in this game. So the Eagles a very big chance here to score as Gadgel comes back into the game. Now only 1 woman up for the Huskies.
When you come in as the underdog, this is how you come back. You're coming in as the underdog, and how do you beat them? Well, having Diapolonia not in the game right now is huge for the Eagles, but also taking advantage of these power play situations can get you in a really good spot to win this game.
As we had a call from the officials, not too sure what that one was. I think they blew the whistle as soon as Gatchel checked back into the game coming out of the penalty box.
I think it has to do with something going on with the penalty clock right now. Right now it reads that the penalty's got 9 minutes and 39 seconds on it, which unfortunate because Avery Baker was receiving a nice feed on the inside there and had an opportunity at the shot.
Yeah, it looks like she had sunny spells right there just to go in and take a shot nonetheless. It will stay with the Eagles. They will retake possession. It will be Jordan Langle on near that left-hand side. And notice how spread the Eagles are throughout the field right now. Of course, trying to utilize some of those maybe midfield cuts that we've really come accustomed to seeing throughout their games.
Yep, and you see one coming through right now. That one was Avery Baker, so they're just going to kind of zigzag in and out. Benoit doing it now, and then finally Gracie Gardner just gets that defense moving, and it can create holes and opportunities for a shot inside the circle.
Spinning away is Whitten, trying to find a woman inside. That's Gracie Gardner into the stick of Baker, and she rifles it through on the left-hand side. And we are knotted at 1 with a great pass and a great goal from Avery Baker.
Martinez with a perfect placement to the stick of Avery Baker, and Baker tallies another goal on this season. Sam, Avery Baker is second all-time on the points list and second on the all-time Husson goals list, now with 116. Can you guess who leads that list currently for the Eagles?
You know, I bet you're going to tell me anyway.
It's Coach Amanda DeHaze is the all-time goal scorer with 130. So Avery Baker within 14 goals of breaking her coach's record with 5 games remaining on the season. She averages a hat trick. She could get it done.
Man, the more you know. I'm going to say I didn't even know that tad bit of information there.
Yeah, did a little extra digging this week.
Just a little bit. Now we're not at a 1, just under 10 left to play here in this first period. Now we've got, it'll be Lingle and Hill. Draw control circle once again. Gatchel swatted it away, tries to scoop it up, and does so. Possession for the Huskies, trying to run it up into the stick of Anna Byers. Ball trying to find Kinney. Heth right there, trying to clean it up. Kinney running her defender. Hill inside, tries to work it around. And scooped it up and in, and they're going to count it.
Yeah, I was wondering if the whistle was going to – the whistle sounded like it came before it hit the goal, but they're going to count it. And honestly, that possession started off looking like it was going to be broken. A bunch of dropped passes, kind of forced to run quickly around the circle over there. But a nice feed inside once again, gets a doorstep shot on Emma Biggs. And back to a 1-point game in USM's favor.
Yeah, Logan, you touched upon it in pregame, how fast this team plays. And just like that, it seemed like that possession lasted maybe not even 15 seconds. And Sierra Hill got to her spot and just rifled in a nice goal.
Yeah, very crisp passes and, quick twitch when they find a spot to get a shot off right there. Sierra Hill getting the pass, getting it off quick.
Sam, these draw controls are going to become so important in this game. Husson might be able to secure one. No, outran.
Gatchel again coming away with the draw control win into the stick of Byers, trying to get some defenders off her hip. She'll pull it back out, wait for her teammates to come and reset. Into the stick of Eliza Pattershall. She looks to cut inside. Martinez bumping her away. So we got a call from the officials.
They're going to get Riley Maynard with some sort of violation that's going to set up Sierra Hill, someone we highlighted at the beginning of this game, with a free position shot. First one of this game.
Free positions have been massive for this Huskies team. On 57 attempts, they've had 24 goals, but they cellar 42% on the year. It's one of the many reasons why they've been so successful. As Began, the great reaction to stop the play.
Began saw that one coming. A lot of the times when you have those free position shots, you want to put it on the ground. Began kind of had the ball come directly to her stick on her strong hand side. All she had to do was lift it up and stop the ball, outlet it. But look at this transition defense from the Huskies, forcing the Eagles back into their defensive zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Benoit had to come back and get the ball. Now into the stick of Lengel. It seems like there's always at least 2-3 defenders coming up as Gatchel tries to plug in the gap. Lengel, a great job getting the ball into the open field, into the stick of Whitten.
A great job transitioning, even with the pressure. Sometimes you just got to take a few extra seconds to make the right move, and they did there, back in the offensive zone.
Gardner trying to work it outside, back to the stick of Whitten. Benoit cutting into the middle, nothing happening there. Over to Lengel, tries to make it some defenders miss, moves it back to the outside.
Look out for Whitten. She is really good at those passes to the inside. That one is dropped by Benoit there, but she is the points leader for the Eagles this year. Has 17 assists to go along with 13 scores. She's done a really good job this year, and she is the all-time points leader for the Eagles as well.
Pattershall has some room to operate, trying to go right into the teeth of the defense. Finds a woman cutting inside. That's Alana Hanselman. And now this will be Maddie Kinney working inside. Tries to find Byers cutting into the middle. Nothing happening there. Scooped up by Pattershall. Shots whacked away. Good defense by Martinez. Heth scrumming with Kinney, and she ends up with the ball.
Yep. Foul there as Sydney Heth was trying to get away with it. So regardless, it'll end in an Eagles possession, but it's broken up. There's Hill again, working the defense. Eagles able to recover.
Lengel has a lot of room to operate. Great pass with Martinez, trying to set her up that left-hand side of the field. But the ball's whacked away by Callista Kinney. Nearly lost it, scooped it up again. A bunch of Eagles trying to get that ball back from her. Lengel and Whitten right there. Gadgels just send it backwards.
Yeah, Husson
Brittany Hill.
The pressure right here too is trying to match that defensive pressure USM's came out with. Not to mention that last possession, USM, I think they're kicking themselves not that they didn't get a shot on goal right there, that last possession.
We have a mystery alarm going off. So the game has been stopped. Not exactly sure where that's coming from.
Kind of just happened. Like it was when Montana Carey took a tumble when trying to scrum for the ball.
Scoreboard
We're trying to figure out the source.
Yeah, it seems like the belief is it's the bell tower over there on the far side of the field, past all of our fantastic sponsors shown over there.
Shout out Chick-fil-A, Ham and Lumber.
And of course,
Bar and Grill.
Dysart's one of our favorites.
As well as, First National Bank. Shout out Jake Miller for walking with his banker every single day.
Cross Insurance Center hosting some of the most fun concerts I've been able to go to here at my time at Husson.
So looks like the alarm has stopped. Got to the bottom of that Scooby-Doo mystery really quick.
Oh, man.
The things that happen in Boucher Field between the times of 4 o'clock and 5:30, let me tell you.
So I think they're just kind of trying to figure out where the clock was at when that first started, get everything reset. I'm sure players are pretty confused with what's going on right now, as well as officials and coaches. So
yeah, that's going to be one of the strangest things that I've seen since broadcasting some games.
And we've seen some strange things happen, both here on the basketball court, down at the Winkin Complex.
A lot of things happening here on the campus of Husson University in beautiful Bangor, Maine. Cannot find a better place to broadcast games, to come and hone your talent with great professors, great talent all around, and just great encouragement, supervising, and just everything all around for Husson as we are back in action here. Ball gets into the stick of Riley Maynard, trying to work it around the side. Kinney right there trying to slow her down. And Kinney walloping Maynard on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that was a nice hit. It's going to go down as a violation, so the Eagles will get it back. But working that far sideline has not seemed to work for them so far for the Eagles. They've got to move it around. I think really today with the pressure that the Huskies are putting on, you just have to tire them out in your own zone, and then when you get that lane, wherever it may be, take off, take advantage of it.
Right on there. Kinney's going to get put into the box with a yellow card. That's another woman-up opportunity for the Eagles. And with, like we talked about, Maddie Kinney, third in goals with 10 on the year, but is also their assist leader with 13 on the game. So definitely losing her. It's kind of a facilitator for this Huskies team, not having her on the field can be crucial, but the way their defense has been playing has not seemed to bother them one bit. As Benoit comes back, scoops up the ball.
Yeah, now she's just got to take off. She's got a little bit of room. Now we'll have to slow down. Martinez is going to try to set the pick.
She has to swing it back out to Carrier, trying to find some room to operate. Into the stick of Langley into the middle of the field. Here comes Sydney Heff.
Fantastic work on the transition right there.
Absolutely fantastic recognition by Langle to come back and scoop it up and get that pass from Carrier. As Bemke has the ball now. Bemke, the leading, actually tied with Baker now with 21 goals on the year. Langle tries to make a move inside, trying to find a cutting Gracie Gardner. Ends up into the stick of Baker. Finds a cutting Benoit. Has some room. Shot just far left. And he'll stay here with the Eagles.
Yeah, Benoit fake to that right side, to that wide side where there was a lot more space. Maybe hoping to get the goaltender, Lasovic, over on that far side. Wasn't able to do so, and just a shot wide to the left.
Martinez trying to find a cutting Bemke into the middle. Nothing happening there. She takes it back out to reset.
I believe the shot clock didn't go off there.
We're good. The penalty's on the field. We're good. No, it's not up. There was only
As it looks like we've got some debate on whether or not what the issue was on the field.
how much time? 51 seconds? Is that what he said?
Looks like it was a shot clock issue, so shot will be reset, and the Eagles.
Just go.
Excuse me, it was a penalty box issue.
Yes, that's what they were trying to figure out. Still a minute left on that woman-up opportunity.
Yep, they were just trying to figure out the time. Maddie Kinney will be sitting in the box as we resume play once again. Natalie Over his left-hand side, here's Avery Baker trying to find a woman. That's a cutting Lengel into the middle. Tried to scoop it up. She got whacked, and that could be a potential.
That is going to be a
opportunity.
That is going to be a free position shot opportunity for Lengel, and sometimes even making that feed into the inside, you trust Lengel. She's got the height. She can come down with that ball if you put it up high, and then even if she does draw the contact inside, she gets a shot anyway. So good recognition by Avery Baker in finding Lengel on the inside of that shooting circle.
Lengel just tries to let it rip just off the left-hand post. And it's staying here with the Eagles, trying to find a cutting woman inside. Bemke that's scooped up into the stick of Hill. Hill just trying to push the pace for her team, tries to find Pattershall, scoops up the ball. Works it up the middle into the stick of Hanselman. Kai Gatchel. Continuing with the ball around. Just over 4 minutes left to play in this first quarter. Huskies with a 2-1 lead over the Eagles if you're just joining us here at Boucher Field. Penalty is up. Maddie Kinney checks back into the game, and at a perfect time as well when you're trying to be at full strength to score maybe or potential another goal.
And it looks like the Eagles defense has kind of settled in here after letting up 2 goals early on in this game. It's played a lot better, and some unforced errors by the Huskies like that one right there have helped them out as well.
Egan scoops it up. Now working it up the field is Maynard. Benoit trying to come back to help out. Maynard just continues to keep rolling up the right-hand side. Tries to find Baker running up the middle. Turnover for the Eagles. Ball is scooped up by Ashley Tobias. Baker knocks it away. It's a scrum for the ball, and eventually the ball is still loose. Callista Kinney was trying to scoop it up.
Baker almost got away with it, was trying to follow through on that scoop, and I think didn't see where the line was right there, stepped out of bounds, so unfortunate but great effort.
So we got a timeout by the Huskies. We'll take a quick one too, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back in action after the timeout, the Huskies leading the Eagles 2-1 in this first quarter of action. Logan, what have we seen so far from the Huskies that's allowed them to be so successful in this game?
Yeah, well-balanced offense and defense. Their defensive attack really putting pressure on Husson in transition, not allowing them to get up and down the field that well. And, offensively, they're finding their spots and they're getting shots up. There have been a couple shots that have been left on the table that they didn't take, and, see if they can capitalize on that.
And Max, if you're the Eagles so far in this game, I mean, defensively, after that second goal from Sierra Hill, you definitely settled into things a little bit more. Offensively, have not had that much more success. If you're Coach DeHaze, what are you telling your team on the sideline?
Well, I think that timeout was beneficial for both teams because I think both teams on the offensive side of the ball have gotten a little bit sloppy just trying to force things inside. And we saw Jordan Lengel had an opportunity where she got contacted off of a nice feed from Avery Baker, but other than that, some sloppy passes and turnovers inside the offensive zone have really cost them possessions, really for both teams, but the Eagles especially. So I think Amanda DeHaze is just telling the team, settle down, run your plays. You know how to do this. Make your cuts, and something will come. You've got 80 seconds to work with. Use it.
Guys are trying to work the ball in the middle. Patterson gets it whacked away. by the checked in. Excuse me, that was Jory Boyd out in the field there, whacking it away from Patterson in the cut in the middle.
Yeah, Jory Boyd back after that suspension she had after the hit that she made on a Maine Maritime Academy Mariner player in the game that ended 11-10 here at Boucher Field.
Pure position goal for Patterson, and she rifles it through the net. Patterson, and we talked about it during pregame or throughout this broadcast, pure position goals have been huge for the Huskies, and once again paying dividends right there.
Yep, make that 26 free position goals on the year for the Huskies. They have done a great job in that this year, and really that's where I feel like the most valuable points come from, because you can make plays on the inside that don't necessarily turn into points, but they eventually do turn into points if you draw the correct contact and make the right plays. Sometimes you want to throw the ball into that crease with some contact in order to get the free shot.
Last game for USM, Patterson, 4 goals against UMass Dartmouth and their 13-4 win. Big piece in their victory last game, and obviously make an impact in this one.
That's now 3 different Huskies that have scored today. Bouchard, Hill, and Patterson. Baker scoring the lone goal for the Eagles. Still plenty of ball game left to play, only the first quarter. Both teams, as we talked about, love to play fast, love to use every single advantage on the field to get to where they need to go. Have talent up and down their roster. So this game could still go in any team's favor.
Face-off violations going to give the Eagles the ball. So much needed possession for them coming up.
And this is the woman you want with the ball, Kate Bemke, who is having a really, a really solid year for this Eagles team. The freshman out of Shelburne, Vermont, with 21 goals on the year. As the ball is knocked away from Benoit into the stick of Brittany Hill. Great control just to get away from the defense. She's got some room to run.
Yeah, she's taken off quickly, too. Might want to match up Layla Martinez to match feet with her, but Benoit does a good job stopping her there.
Benoit stepped up into the stick of Lizzie Haley. Martinez is trying to play one-on-one defense. Nothing happening there.
Martinez is going to have a seat in the box after trying to force her out of bounds. So a woman up opportunity coming up for the Huskies. And this is huge. You can extend your lead to 3 here as the first period of play comes to a close.
Right around a minute and a half left to play in this first period. You're just joining us. Huskies up 3-1 over your Eagles of Husson University. Here's Sierra Hill trying to find some way to survey around the defense. Turns on the Jets. Tried to find somebody. Gardner, great individual defense. Hill gets away. Into the stick of Gotchel. Has some room to operate. Thought about the pass across the middle. Gets it to Maddie Kinney. Downstairs on the goal. Tries to find a cutting woman. But into the stick of Began.
Began has stood tall in that net today despite the 3 goals.
Pass is intercepted by Patterson. She's got some room to operate. She's going to do it herself and just shy over the goal.
Big collision right there in front of the goal right there. Patterson went to shoot it and head-on collision.
Yeah, Patterson is shaking up on the field.
And that's going to be on Jory Boyd. So she'll come and sit in the box. Just looking to make sure Patterson gets up here.
Eliza Patterson, as tough as they come, 11 games this year, 6 goals, 1 assist, shooting 30% this year, 12 control turnovers, 13 draw control wins as well. She's definitely one of these most versatile pieces for this Husky team. Nice to see her under her own power and walking. It looks like she will get another opportunity here to score.
Yep, and now playing 2 women up here, so a really nice power play opportunity coming up for the Huskies. If you are the Huskies, you got to come away with this right here. I know you got the lead, but you know the Eagles have been a second-half team for the majority of this year in the way that they're able to make adjustments later down the line. So Patterson will get an opportunity here. Nice to see her stay out there and take this free position.
It'll be Gardner and Benoit on the right and left side trying to slow her down. And she gets it through the goal. Patterson, her second goal of the game. And the Huskies have built a 3-goal lead.
Patterson, after taking that hit, able to get back to her feet, line up at the free position. And that spot right at the top of the circle there is the ideal shot. You have pretty much a straight line to the net. It's hard for defenders to get there, and you saw it right there. Untouched, makes the shot, and it's 4-1.
Yeah, the Eagles not having too much opportunity with time of possession on the offensive side of the ball. Got to give a lot of credit to the Huskies defense. They came with the game plan and they're executing it to perfection so far. They have a 4-1 lead over the Eagles. But as you mentioned, Max, the Eagles, it's like I said, it's only the first quarter, and like you said, Max, this is not a team that you can count out so easily.
Yeah, they'll find their way back into this one, but I think now with this weather starting to come down, we talked about it. They've practiced in it before. Sometimes it takes teams a little bit to get used to it. Not only that, but USM is a really, really good team coming in at 7-4, 2-1 in their conference. So they definitely weren't coming into this game expecting it to be easy.
As Gardner tried to rifle it through, lost control of the ball, and it ends up into the stick of Huskies defender. Bemke intercepts the pass. Thought about trying to cut it inside, but just decides to pull it back out. 25 seconds left to play. He finds a cutting window into the middle. Nearly got it to go. Just shy. A little far left. Clock continues to tick away. 15 seconds left in this first quarter. Baker looking to find some options here. Gardner cutting inside. Loses the ball. Ball is still loose. Picked up by Baker. Tries to find a cutting woman. Benoit outside. And the ball roll away. And that's going to do it for the first quarter of action, as the Huskies with a 4-1 lead over the Eagles of Husson University. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back for the second period on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Second quarter action just about to start. Once again, if you're just joining us, I'm Sam Miller, joined alongside Max Sturm and Logan Martin. The Huskies up 4-1 over the Eagles. Logan, the Huskies really got into their rhythm pretty quickly into that first quarter. What have they been able to do that's made them so successful?
Just capitalizing on those penalty shots, shots right there in front of the net. Obviously, the first goal they scored sparked the next three, but they've done a great job capitalizing on their opportunities. Husson just needs to do a better job and limit their chances at the goal.
Yeah, the Huskies are outpacing the Eagles right now on the offensive end of things, and really in transition too. When the Eagles are taking it down to their offensive end, they're quick to the ball, they're forcing turnovers, and they're running down real quick. I think it's getting the Eagles tired on the defensive end.
Lego winning the face-off sets up a possession for the Eagles. Much needed, of course, as Gardner works it around into the stick of Maddie Benoit. Tries to find a cutting woman across the middle. That's knocked down by a Husky defender. Ball is still loose. Benoit will regather and reset.
Yeah, and we're seeing Sierra Hill play both sides of the ball here. Offense, she has a goal, has several nice takeaways here in this game as well.
Baker tried to find a cutting Whitten. Gardner will look to track it down. Does so as well. Check it in for the Huskies is number 19, Ella Burnell. Very solid midfielder. The sophomore out of Biddeford, Maine. As Lego tries to find a woman across the middle. That's Bemke, but she will get whacked on the play.
You know, Max mentioned the pace. Just when USM scoops that ball and picks up a turnover, they're out and running, and the pace is definitely different between the two teams.
It looks like it'll be Bemke with a free position opportunity for the Eagles. This is definitely what they need to get back into this game. As Max touched on, the Huskies have been super successful in free possessions, not only in this game, but the entire season. As Bemke just to bounce it in, Leslavic, the great heads-up reaction play.
Wow, and that was a tough shot to stop. Leslavic kind of just squeezed her feet together to stop that one. That is a tough bouncer. Usually you see those ones find the back of the net, especially coming from a player the caliber of Kate Bemke. But Leslavic, standing tall in goal, once again keeps this a 3-point game.
Leslavic, the senior from Thomaston, Maine, out of Oceanside High School, having her best season donning the blue and the gold. She talked about coming into this one, 64 saves, a 39% save percentage from 223 shots faced. Having a very, very solid campaign for the Huskies. As the ball is into the stick of Carrier, she finds Bemke trying to cut across the field, trying to get away from the defense. There's a swarm of Huskies defenders. Finds Lengel.
Free lane here, though, for Lengel. So good job by Bemke drawing all those defenders in and leaving Lengel wide open.
A couple times so far in this game, too, where they face defensive pressure and just finding Lengel for just an outlet pass and just getting up the field.
Lengel's height definitely makes her a threat when trying to, pass the ball right over the heads of the defenders. She's a very versatile weapon in that regard. As Whitten tries to cut across the field, tried to find Martinez cutting into the middle, taken away by Brittany Hill.
Just no room to breathe right there on that pass. And
seeing Brittany Hill make some plays on the defensive end as well. That was a really nice takeaway. Just kind of swatted it out and caught it. Avery Baker with a fantastic effort.
Ball is into the stick of Benoit. Just trying to scramble away from defenders. Now she's galloping on the left-hand side, trying to find some sort of offense for her team here. That's been a little bit struggling on this side of the ball.
I think they got to use more time. Sometimes pacing is not just about how quick you are, but how slow you are, and using the clock here to open up the smart plays.
That's what USM did with their first goal, just kind of lulled the defense to sleep. And
as right on cue, Kate Bemke just with a soft touch around the goal, scoops it into the right lower corner for the second goal of the game for the Eagles.
And sometimes you can move quick, and that's what they did that time. And Bemke finding her way from this close alley into the shooting circle, unguarded, was able to secure a nice catch and place it in the back of the net off a bouncer, bringing this one back within 2 goals, and that's huge here in the second quarter.
That's goal number 22 for Kate Bemke, the freshman out of Shelburne, Vermont, having herself just like I said, a very, very solid campaign for the Eagles. Coach DeHaze scouted her out, recruited her, and she's fit seamlessly into this Eagles offense.
Yeah, we've talked about it in one of the other games that we called as well, Sam, just how well both the men's and women's lacrosse coaches here have recruited this past year. Amanda DeHaze obviously bringing in players like Kate Bemke, who have become one of the top scorers in this game, and then Coach Mike O'Neill for the Eagles men's team, bringing in Kiernan Field, who is having an unprecedented freshman year. Nearly 50 goals through 12 games. Just incredible recruitment by both these coaches.
Two of the best at what they do are Coach O'Neill and Coach Hayes for Husson, and showcasing why with talent up and down their rosters as the ball is turned over back to the Eagles. This will be Sydney Heth. Gets it to Riley Maynard, has a lot of room to operate. And notice how the Huskies bring at least 3 to 4 defenders coming up that field, and they normally have maybe someone like wide open on that right-hand side, but Maynard turns on the Jets, has one woman to beat.
Yeah, the Huskies are trying to pinch on the sidelines there, and it's worked well for them all day. Maynard just with a little bit more speed and a better angle there gets into the offensive zone. Eagles with the ball.
Martinez finds Bemke at the top. Here's Gracie Gardner, finds an open Benoit. Tries to work it into the middle, thought about going inside, pulled it back out, finds Martinez, has a little bit of room, thought about the shot, pulled it back out. Good recovery by Gatchel to force it out. Here's Natalie Witten. Back over to Martinez, trying to cut across the middle again. That was Haley with a great pressure. Baker across the middle. That's Baker now with the ball. Nearly thought it had the shot. Tried to square it in with some difficulty, but scooped up by Bemke, and the Eagles will reset once again.
Yeah, so Gardner had a nice opportunity inside there, but she's a right-hander, and she was on the far side of the goal by the time she got it, and then the pressure came on from the Huskies, not allowing her to get a real nice shot where she could put some velocity on it. So ultimately, back to the Huskies now.
Gatchel once again just coming in clutch for this Huskies defense. This is Hanselman trying to work it up the field into the stick of Maddie Kinney. Kinney with one to beat. That's Montana Carrier. Gets it down towards Reagan Bouchard, who scored the first goal of this game. Here's Byers back over to Gatchel, left-hand side. Just trying to survey that defense. Gets it into Sierra Hill. Tries to find a cutting woman. Nothing happening there. Scooped up by Anna Byers. Into the stick of Hill. Great catch to secure that ball. Thought about the shot, pulled it back out into the stick of Gatchel with Maynard and Martinez right there. Just to float it inside. And nearly got it to go, but Emma Began, a great heads-up play once again.
That was a beautiful save. That shot had every chance of going in on the top of the net there, and she quickly able to adjust, turn around, use her feet to get good positioning, and swipes it out of the air.
Maddie Kinney had it from point-blank range, but Began, the fantastic coordination to get that ball. And now the Huskies get the ball back off the Eagles' turnover. This is Brittany Hill. Gets it to Lindsay Haley. Has one woman to beat. Tries to cut it upfield. Looking for a woman. That's Callista Kitty. Ball is knocked away. Ball still loose. Picked up by Bemke. Here come the Eagles.
You'll see that pressure immediately be put on Bemke. 4 players at one time there for a second. Able to dish it off to Martinez up the field off the bounce pass. And now you'll see the Huskies kind of settle in once the Eagles get into that restraining zone area.
Gardner looks to make a move into the middle. Kicks it back out to Whidden. Whidden trying to survey the defense. Here's Martinez working around their right-hand side. Just a bit too high over Lengel's head. Trying to track it down before the ball goes out. And does so. Gets there just in time.
Well, great hustle from Lengel right there.
Baker tried to find a cutting Lengel up the feet across the middle. Nothing happening there. Carrier trying to track it down. Ball still loose. Picked up by Whidden. The Eagles continuing to maintain possession on this play as Bemke controls the offense now.
Yeah, caught a break right there, not allowing USM to get that ball, scooping, go in transition.
So another thing you got to take into consideration here with this weather, Logan and Sam, is these passes are really hard to get off right now because the stick, the mesh inside the stick gets all wet, and so it slides out of the stick way easier. That's what you saw when Martinez was trying to get it to Lengel. The ball just went a little bit too high.
Right.
Just a little bit of weather can do that to a lacrosse stick, and it's really hard to adjust because you're so used to a particular throwing motion. You have to adjust it, kind of be a little bit easier on it. Sometimes you change your hand placement. It's really difficult.
Yeah, same thing goes for shooting as well. I mean, of course, it doesn't matter where you are. The same throwing or shooting motion is going to come into effect here with the weather being as poor as it is. Nonetheless, both these teams still continuing to play at 110%.
It says 38 degrees. Feels like 20.
Yeah, it's quite cold out walking up here, at least today. I think that rain-snow combination is not making it any better either. Man, I just want the warm weather here, guys.
Yeah, we're here at the beginning of April. We're still getting snow. I mean, not too sure about where the groundhog was not too long ago.
I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure he gave us a few more weeks.
He's definitely hiding now.
Not fair. He just gets to hide away from the weather while we got to sit out here and deal with it. But I feel even worse for these players right now.
Ball looking to be tracked down. Leslavic just scoops it up. Outside of the creases, Leslavic. She has a lot of room to work here. Don't really see her a lot come out of the goal.
Oh.
And a great box-up play from Anna Byers gets it away from Riley Maynard.
Yeah, and the Huskies a little bit lucky there that bounced into the stick of Anna Byers, because if not, that could have been a break the other way with the goaltender out of the net.
Gadgel with a lot of space on the left-hand side finds Sierra Hill across the middle. Tried to find Bouchard in the middle again. Nothing happening there. Katie corrals it behind the goal. Finds Kaya Gatchel. Again, just taking a look at what the defense is giving the team. Hill tries to make a move on Lengel. Moves inside. And fleeces it inside the goal past the stick of Began. And that's Sierra Hill's second goal of the game.
Yeah, and Hill's goal looking eerily similar to the first one that she had in this one as far as placement goes. She this time, though, driving inside on her own to make that one happen and placing it over the opposite shoulder of Emma Began. That's such a tough save to make. You got to switch the stick all the way around. It's very awkward on the hands. Began not able to react fast enough as that came right from the doorstop.
5-2 lead here for the Huskies now. It just seems like the Huskies, as soon as they get the ball, they're out and running onto that field, and it looks like they've had a lot of control on the offensive side of the ball, just really taking a lead in time possession of this game, and it's really paid dividends throughout.
I think one of the biggest focuses for the Eagles here is how are we going to get a little bit better at winning these draw controls, because they've had a few. Langle has the height to get up there and manipulate that ball in a way that the Eagles can get it, but there's some really fast players on the outside of this circle here, this draw control circle here for the Huskies. Got to come up with a good strategy.
Patterson nearly had it, lost the ball, still loose, and it's scooped up by Bemke. Play will resume, and Bemke will control the offense once again.
I think they're going to work. I think one of the best things that they've done this year is working behind the net, and they haven't done a lot of it today. Some of the best feeds they've had on the year have come from back there.
We try to circle it around to Baker.
And wow.
And just like that, Baker just, as soon as she caught the ball, brought it down and bounced it into the goal. Man, what a crazy sequence that was.
Well, returning to what works, and that was Natalie Witten working from one side of the crease to the other behind the net, finding Baker on the opposite side. That is such a hard move for the goalie, from moving one side of the net to the other that quickly. And Baker, almost on a one-timer, didn't even look like it fully went into her stick, was able to get it into the net. So Eagles maybe can build some momentum off of this after that win on the face-off. This game's not over.
Yeah, still far from over. Still a whole other half of lacrosse left to play. But yeah, to your point, Max, it just seemed like Baker knew exactly what she was going to do as soon as that ball hit her stick. It just seemed like the ball like maybe had one bounce in her stick, and immediately she just rivaled it through the net. I don't think Slavic saw it coming.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a hockey goal where, you know, you think like someone takes the slap shot from way outside and you think that they're the one that scores it, but when you look at the replay, it happens so quick in front of the net where another guy just tips it with the stick and it goes in and it counts as their goal. It's something very similar to what we saw with Avery Baker and Natalie Witten right there.
Sierra Hill off the face-off win finds a woman on the right-hand side. That's Maddie Kinney. Now over to Anna Byers. Here's Gatchel. Way outside to the left-hand side. This will be Sierra Hill. Already 2 goals for the Huskies in this one. Just looking around, seeing her options. Gets it out to Gatchel. Gatchel tries to find a cutting Sierra Hill. Ball is loose and scooped up by Began. Good stance for the Eagles.
Yeah, no, not a bad look looking for Sierra Hill. Just a little bit too far in front of her and a bit high. And Began in the right place, right time just to pick it up off the ground. And maybe potential fast break opportunity if Martinez is able to pick it up. No, the Huskies will settle in now.
Looks like Martinez did control the ball. Huskies did get back playing excellent defense as Benoit trying to work it inside. Great. It looks like she's always having at least 2 defenders around her. It seems like that's kind of been the defensive game plan for the Huskies. There's always been at least 2 defenders with whomever is controlling the ball on the outside. So we got a free position opportunity here for Kate Bemke once again. And this could be a very, very big play right here, fellas, with Bemke scoring one of the only goals for the Eagles as she rivals it through on the free position opportunity. Goal number 23 for Bemke. and it's a 1-goal lead now for the Eagles.
What a wonderful shot from Bemke right there. Instead of driving all the way to the net and trying to make the goaltender miss, why not just wind up and put it on her opposite side of her strong stick hand? That's what Bemke does right there. Fires it into the net, and this game is back to within 1.
To quote our good buddy Zach Mills, and our boss from SID, we're back in it, buddy. You know, it's good to see that. It's nice to see that the Eagles looks like they've kind of found a little bit of their mojo now, playing with a bit more intensity. And the Huskies, while they're also playing still very well, it looks like the Eagles have kind of caught them off guard a little bit with the way they come out, especially in these last 5 minutes.
Well, and I think that's what we talked about a little bit earlier, Sam, is just how well the Eagles are able to adjust. They will go down some goals early on in the game, and then they come back and they find a way to fight back into this one. Looked like a nasty collision there. Both players able to get back up under their own power and continue this game. But
yeah, it was Bemke and Pattershall colliding again, which Pattershall, of course, went down early in the game with colliding with another Eagles player. Nonetheless, both players back up and under their own power.
Kind of back to what I was saying, though, just the Eagles adjusting well. Amanda DeHace has been doing this long enough. She was a great player in her own right, like we said, having the all-time goals leader for Husson. So she knows what she's doing as far as offense goes and has worked the defensive side of the ball too. So no surprise that they've found their way to a closer matchup here.
Gotcha. 1-on-1 with Sydney Heth. Gets it outside to Sierra Hill. Nice little fake spin move there, trying to work it around the outside. Double teamed by Benoit and Lengel. Hill with great control of the ball. Stick is knocked down and into the stick of being. Good defensive stance for the Eagles.
Yeah, and Hill just trying to do a little bit too much there, working inside. Wow, what a defensive play there by Pattershall.
Yeah, she was chasing down Martinez, and that's not easy to do. Martinez, one of the speediest players, not only for Husson, but in the North Atlantic Conference as well. Tracking her down, no easy feat, but Pattershall was right there to whack the ball away.
Yep, and a turnover on an attempted pass there, so the Eagles will get it back after all. But yeah, you love to see that transition defense. It's so important. Both transition offense and defense are important, obviously, but working that defensive side, you can end someone's possession and kind of get a 2-for-1 opportunity.
Heth has to kick it back out to Maynard. As we see once again, the Huskies just bringing 2-3 defenders to an individual Eagles player. The one crucial weakness that I've seen so far is that it leaves the one side of the field is completely wide open. Nonetheless, it has paid dividends so far in this game as they hold the lead over the Eagles. As the Eagles can look to control the possession once again. This is Whitten.
Yeah, and the opponents are going to find their way past that Huskies transition defense at some point, but it takes so much time off of the shot clock that it's worth it. The less time that they have to work with, the better if you're the Huskies.
That's what we get. Yep, looks like we get an offsides call for number 19. That's Ella Brunell for the Huskies. So another woman-up opportunity for the Eagles here.
And this one could be the equalizer. This is a huge chance on the power play for the Eagles. You'll think with 90 seconds, a full reset on the shot clock, and 1 minute for the penalty, they'll use at least that full 60 seconds to try and get something to work unless they're able to find something open in the middle right away.
Minute 40 in this first half of action left to play here. As the Eagles will look to tie this ball game up. Lengel thought about going into the middle, tries to find a cunning woman. That was Whitten trying to get the ball away to a player. Knocked away by Lengel and turned over by the Eagles.
Yeah, the violation on Natalie Whitten there off of the pass. So expect some heavy pressure here from the Eagles in this transition. They're still up here.
Hanselman with a little bit of room to operate here.
Defense is just going to fall back in. Good job by the Eagles.
Hanselman thought about pushing it up, but just brought it back out. Just going to wait for the rest of her team to come and support. Now gets it into the stick of Sierra Hill. Pattershall outside. Gets it back over to Hill. A lot of room to operate for the Huskies. They're just going to work the ball around and see if there's anything happening near a specific point of the field as Burnell checks back into the game for the Huskies. Gatchel just working it back, playing a two-woman game with Sierra Hill. Working it behind the goal is Kenny. Cutting inside is Pattershall. Ball's knocked loose. Scrumming for it is Pattershall and Benoit. Ball is still loose and eventually corralled by Pattershall. Benoit trying to play intense one-on-one defense there.
That could have been a half-saving play right there by Benoit, making that, wow, off the post, but Benoit was
so close for Sierra Hill.
Wow, that was a shot from far outside too, but Maddie Benoit doing a fantastic job getting his hand on the stick of Pattershall and keeps this one within one as we head to half.
Yep, couldn't have said it better, Max. The Eagles clawing back slowly but surely. Now we got a 1-point game here at Boucher Field. The Huskies lead the Eagles 5-4. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after halftime on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. And we're back. Just a minute and a half left to go before the second half of action here. Once again, I'm Sam Miller, joined alongside Max Sturm and Logan Martin. We're here at Boucher Field on a rainy day. The University of Southern Maine Huskies leading your Husson University Eagles 5-4 after 2 periods of play. Logan, what did we see from the Eagles in that first half that allowed them at first? They were a little bit stagnant to get started, but then what did you see that allowed them to get back into the game?
Yeah, they responded very well in adversity. USM got out to a pretty early lead and gained that momentum, and then Husson gained it right back, and that's what they needed to do to stay within this game. And now we have a one-score game to start the second half.
And now, Max, taking a look at the Huskies, they built that lead up, but then kind of took a couple steps back as the Eagles were kind of slowly but surely getting back into this game. What did we see from them in that first half that allowed them to build this lead?
Well, we saw them in that first quarter, really. It's been a game or a story of 2 quarters through one half. They outscored Husson 4-1 in that first quarter, and it was really just the pacing that we saw and the quickness of that Huskies offense, getting down in transition, setting up their plays, and making quick feeds to the inside on those nice cuts by other Huskies players. Sierra Hill really being one of them. She's got 2 goals on the day. But then in that second quarter, we kind of saw the opposite happen. They slowed it down a little bit. They were playing a little bit sloppier on offense and allowed the Eagles to outscore them 3-1 in that one. And so we're back within a 1-point game. Both teams have had a little bit of time to settle down and regroup, talk about their adjustment strategies heading into the second half. And I think this is going to be a real close game coming down to the wire.
We saw a lot of serendipitous things happening for the Eagles to end that second quarter. So we'll see if that can carry over some momentum into this second half. So we'll see what happens here. Now both teams geared up and ready to go. Coach DeHaze and Coach DiRepo, of course, talking it over with their teams at halftime. And we talked about it during the beginning of this game that both these coaches so good at adjustments. Head Coach DiRepo doing a fantastic job leading this Southern Maine Huskies team, as we talked about, 7-4 overall, 2-1 in their Little Eastern Conference. Action here.
Sorry, Sam. Speaking of adjustments, Avery Baker's now taking the draw control, so Jordan Lengel no longer in that circle. I think maybe just trying to see if they have something else using Avery on this one, trying to get it out to, I believe that's Bemke on one side and Benoit, who's been fantastic on the draw control all year at securing those.
It'll be Bemke and Gatchel on the right and Pattershaw and Benoit on the left. Baker and Hill squaring off. Face-off is won by the Huskies. Here comes Gatchel. A lot of room to run. She can turn on the Jets at any given time. So has to pull it back out. Downstairs to Kennedy near the backhand side of the goal. Gets it back over to Gatchel and looking into the stick of Sierra Hill. 2 goals in that first half. Gets it over to Eliza Pattershaw. Here comes Madison Kinney. Trying to find a cutting Gatchel inside. Hill brings it back out. Picks it over to Pattershaw. Good defense so far from the Eagles. Martinez trying to go one-on-one with Pattershaw. Gets it back over to Kinney. Into the middle is Bouchard. And gets it to go for her second goal of the game. And that one, I couldn't tell at first if that one went in, but the signal from the official shows that Bouchard notched her second point of the game.
Yep, her second goal of the game, and that one was a roller. It was kind of tough to see, like you said, but she just a little underhand shot. Didn't have to put too much velocity on it. Just rolled it past the feet of Emma Biggs. And so they'll go back up to a 2-point game here early in this third quarter. I believe what happened there on the defensive side was, you saw it when the ball was moving around up top here, Sam. The Eagles defense was moving really quick to recover there. And once the ball got behind the net, Sydney Heth was looking there and kind of lost track of Bouchard up front. And so she had a really wide open shot there.
Now, Logan, an early score for the Huskies. Obviously not the way you want to start if you're the Eagles. So if you get the ball back here, what's the game plan? How do you want to approach this for the rest of the game?
Yeah, just take their time, find the shots. I know Max mentioned earlier in the game, slowing the possessions down, making sure your passes are crisp, and getting the right shot and the right opportunity.
Just like that, Baker wins the face-off. A little bit of room to operate here. Just pull it back out, trying to go one-on-one with Gatchel. Gets it to Natalie Whidden, who is the assist leader by a large margin for this Eagles roster. 17 on the year coming into this game. Gracie Gardner gets it back to Whidden behind the goal, looking to circle it around. Good defense by the Huskies. Whidden finds Benoit on on behind the goal here, right outside the crease.
I think this work behind the net is really going to help this team out here, making those cuts inside. It'll draw the attention of some defenders back there and leave some open shots available.
We saw Bemke cut across the middle, try to set a screen for Baker outside. The ball continues to be circled around by the Eagles. Bemke trying to work it around. Tried to find a woman across the middle. Good defense by the Huskies. Benoit trying to go inside. Picked up back out to Bemke. Cutting across the middle. At least 3 defenders right there trying to force her out. Bemke, no room to operate. So we have some sort of violation on the play. Not quite sure what the call is, but it will result in a free possession. No, looks like a free possession play.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be for Kate Bemke, and I'm pretty sure what happened there, Sam, was just a little bit of contact away from the ball while Bemke had it, and she was taking it back outside of the circle.
Bemke just rifled it right just over the goal. It'll stay here with Husson. I was a little confused at first. We saw Wynn and Martinez go to the back. Didn't know if they were taking it out there, but it was a free position opportunity for Bemke.
We saw her capitalize on one at the end of the half there where she put a really nice shot on goal. Aimed high on that one, wasn't able to get it to go through, but good job by Witten staying strong behind the net and being the first one to it as it rolled out of bounds.
So violation by the Eagles with a turnover going back to the Huskies. Here's Pattershall trying to just get the ball out. Ball's not free, corralled by Martinez, and here come the Eagles. Martinez cutting across the middle and just gets the ball swiped away by Lizzie Haley. Good defensive play for the Huskies.
That's what you call a yard sale when the stick gets taken completely out of your hands and the ball comes down. Martinez with a fantastic defensive play, but the Huskies answer back with one of their own.
Brittany Hill trying to get it away. Finds Haley across near the right-hand side. Gets it into the offensive zone of the Huskies. Ball will stay here. Pattershall looking to dictate. Gets over to Madison Kinney. Once again, operating behind the goal. We've seen her do that all game long. Definitely her bread and butter on the turf as Hill gets the ball, passes it over to Byers. Now back over to Pattershall. Across the middle. Here's Gatchell, right-hand side. Back over to Kinney outside of the crease. Looks like this is Sierra Hill trying to get it in once again. Nothing happening there. Just a bit too far, but corralled by Kinney. Kinney finds a cutting woman. That's Anna Byers. Just go one-on-one with Baker. Downstairs to Gatchell. Outside, back to Kinney. The ball movement has been superb for the Huskies. Pattershall looking to do it herself. And into the stick of Began. Looks like we got a violation on the play.
Yep, it's going to be a shot here for Pattershall, who was able to get just a slight bit of contact. It looked like she got through there unscathed, making nice moves to the goal. Began with a nice save, but it's not going to matter as she'll get a shot right here.
Pattershall looking for her third goal for the hat-trick in this game. Knocked away by Began, and here come the Eagles. Good heads-up reaction play.
So the Eagles are going to be pressured heavily right here. Martinez is going to get it and face a double team. It's back on the ground.
Benoit bounced it up into the air. Ball is still loose. Kinney, Benoit, and Heth over there trying to scrum for it. And it's into the stick of Kinney. Good control there on the play and gets it back for the Huskies. As Gatchell will try to survey around, has Montana Carrier in her grill. Madison Kinney now trying to find a woman. Thought about the cut across the middle. Sierra Hill trying to work it inside. Pulls it back out. Good defense from the Eagles. Gatchell, right-hand side. Carrier right there. So you have another violation on the play.
Yep, this one also away from where the ball was. Wonder where they're going to end up placing it. It looks like Montana Carrier is going to get called for some sort of violation in the square there.
So it'll be Madison Kinney looking for her 11th goal on the year from the free position opportunity. Does it herself and puts it through the net. And once again, the free position goals for this Huskies team paying dividends once again, and the lead is back up to 3 for the Huskies.
Yeah, getting them back out to a substantial lead here, and honestly, that one comes down to the Eagles not being able to take advantage of not only some great stops by Emma Began, but also allowing both those free position opportunities down inside the circle there, but also the turnovers. They haven't had a true possession on the other side of the field yet, other than that one where we saw the ball get tipped away from Martinez. But just time of possession's been huge in this game, Sam. The Huskies have dominated it. They did in the first quarter, and they are here again in the third.
That makes Kinney the 4th Husky to score a goal. Pattershaw, Bichard, and Hill all with 2 apiece. Lead now 7-4 for University of Southern Maine. It'll be Lengel back into the draw control circle facing off with Sierra Hill. Benoit had it initially. Ball got loose and picked up by Lengel. Since we had maybe some sort of face-off violation, nonetheless, it will stay here with the Eagles. It'll be Lengel controlling the pace now for Husson, just trying to survey the field.
And they had her back out there on the free position, and I think that just being able to be a little bit diverse out there with your free position, draw control specialists is important. You don't really know what to expect if you switch it up a little bit.
Witten gallops inside. So we have another violation for one of these teams.
So free position coming up now for, I think it's Layla Martin, or is that Witten on the far side?
Witten far side, just a bit too far left. Once again, and the ball will go back to the Huskies. The ball's whacked away by Lengel. Picked up, but regained and picked up by Callista Kinney. Gardner knocking it away this time. 2 great plays for the Eagles defensively, but the ball will stay with the Huskies.
Some unlucky bounces. But it allows them to get the extra pressure on.
Kinney has Bemke right in her face, trying to corral the ball. 2 Eagles, 3 Eagles right there, eventually scooped up by Sierra Hill, trying to get it away and gets it into the stick of Brittany Hill. And here come the Huskies with a potential fast break opportunity.
That was a heck of a pass from Sierra Hill right there to get it to Brittany Hill on the far side of the field. Just kind of a Hail Married it, lobbed it up, and Brittany Hill does a good job getting to it and taking it down to the far end.
As Madison Kinney back down towards the goal again. Gatchel now will get it back over to Byers. Here's Sierra Hill at the top. Will facilitate for her team at any given time. Pattershaw now back downstairs to Kinney, working outside the crease. Now Sierra Hill and Byers playing a 2-woman game here. Byers trying to cut it inside. And the shot, she looked like she had it. Looks like she just tried to throw it away, but the shot bounced into the goal.
That one. Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, yep, they're going to count the goal. Man, that was a really weird-looking shot right there. I thought it just looked like she just kind of lost the body of her stick, and Began just didn't know where the ball was.
Yeah, it looked more like Byers was trying to find a feed on the inside there and missed it. It was a bounce shot, and it rolled through the legs of Began. Maybe the traffic inside of that shooting circle made it a little bit hard to see, but nonetheless, a very strange goal.
As we're going to time out on the field, we'll take a quick one, too. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back in action after the timeout. The lead has blossomed to 4 as the Huskies have an 8-4 lead over the Eagles here. Now, Max, if you're the Eagles, you're playing catch up now for pretty much the rest of the game. So, if you're Coach DeHaze, what are you telling your squad in the timeout?
Well, you've got a quarter and 8 minutes to work with here. You're down 4. We saw in the first half they were down 3 and were able to bring it back within 1. So, obviously, this team is capable of coming back and doing that again, and hopefully, in their case, coming away with the win. But time starts now. You've really got to work and play your best offense through the rest of this quarter and the next. Defense has got to get a little bit better, too. They've seemed a little bit off as they spent a lot of time down in the defensive end. They're probably getting a bit tired of being down there considering the time of possession that we've seen from the Huskies. So the offense has to help them out in that aspect, but defense needs to be a little bit cleaner.
Now, Logan, looking at the Huskies, they've built up a pretty nice lead here due to some defensive lapses from the Eagles. And as Max pointed out, this is a team for Husson that can come back into any sort of game. If you're the Huskies, how do you prevent that?
Yeah, we've already seen it once, so keep playing your pace, keep playing your game, controlling the pace, and finding shots, and making that clock tick down.
Both teams working in around the outside of the goal. University of Southern Maine is another violation on the play. And yeah, it looks like we'll have a free position opportunity for the Huskies here. It will be Sierra Hill. Thought about this shot, just lost the ball, and scooped up by Maynard, and here come the Eagles.
That was Maynard with a really nice play on Sierra Hill. Sierra Hill just decided to pull it back out and try and reset that offense. Maynard came in and slapped the stick. Martinez picked it up. Now Maynard running down the far sideline. They're trying to pinch her, but we've got another violation on that far side. And this one's going to be a card. So a woman up opportunity coming out of this one as Eliza Pattershaw is going to get the green card and sit in the box.
And that's huge for the Eagles, as Pattershaw has been absolutely cooking on this in this game for the Huskies.
Yeah, Pattershaw with 2 goals already on the game. And she's been doing well on the defensive side, too, kind of keeping the Eagles' top playmakers out of that offensive zone, that shooting circle. So Eagles really should take advantage of this power play here.
Baker trying to work it outside of the goal. Kicks it outside to Whidden. Thought about it. Bemke now kicks it out to Martinez, trying to circle it around. Lengel surveying the floor. Gardner trying to cut inside. Loses the ball. Still loose. Scrum forward down near the goal. Ends up to the stick of Haley. She's bumped out of bounds by Baker. And it goes back to the Huskies.
I think the pressure on these transitions as the Huskies are transitioning need to be better from the Eagles. They haven't done a great job, but here's a pick off by Martinez.
Just with the doctor order right there, just maybe get some wind back in your sails. Bemke trying to do it herself, and just once again, a little bit too far above the goal. We've seen the Eagles have some really good looks near the goal, but just have not been able to convert throughout this game.
Yeah, and that was a nice shot. It's a tough angle to put it really anywhere, but that was the shot that she had to take. Just goes over the net. I think at some point they got to start putting these on the ground as well because those bouncers are really hard to stop.
Ball continues to circle around for the Eagles. A lot of time on this possession here. Trying to make something work. This is Baker near the goal. Kicks it out to Lengel. Circling around the goal, just outside the crease, trying to find a Cunny Martinez. Gets it inside and she just bounces it into the goal. Man, a good find right there from Lengel to find Martinez. And the lead is now down to 3 for the Huskies.
So working back around the net this time. This time it's Lengel, who before a few games ago didn't have any assists on the year. Now up to 4 after that one on the season, and does a great job finding Martinez driving inside. She had already beat her defender inside the shooting circle there, and so it was a one-on-one with the goalie. And like we said, those bounce shots can be really hard to stop. She does it right there.
Lengel Martinez coming into this year for the women's lacrosse team after playing some fantastic basketball as well for the Eagles this past fall. Lengel and Martinez, 2 very big pieces for that Eagles team this year, now have brought their talents to the turf. And they showcase why right there their chemistry is so very strong.
So you see a little bit of a different lineup out there. Lengel and Benoit both there. Bemke Usually that's Layla Martinez, but I think they're looking for a little bit of extra height here, and they're lined up in different positions as well. So you wonder if Amanda DeHaze talked to Langle about exactly where to put this ball that's most advantageous for them.
Yep, ball is popped up by Langle and into the stick of Bemke. Great draw control right there for the Eagles. And a little bit of room to operate here. As Baker tries to fight a cutting Benoit inside. And just shy of the goal. Just could not get it to fall.
It was a great opportunity right there for a shot.
Benoit had a beautiful cut inside and just had to beat Laslavik, the goalie. But just could not convert as the shot was a bit too far high over that center post. As Baker cuts inside. And once again, Avery Baker converts for her third goal of the game. And the lead's now down to 2.
And these are the types of plays that get you back into the game. Earlier on, it was relax, settle down, run your plays. I think you can still do that, but some of these quick plays before the Huskies have a real chance to settle in on defense can be super advantageous in building or reducing a deficit rather, and from 4 goals down to 2 goals down now in just a matter of a few minutes. And Baker getting it done that time and getting the hat trick. Remember, we said if she averages a hat trick for every game the rest of the season, which she's done a good job at so far this year, she might have a chance at breaking the all-time goal-scoring record set by Amanda DeHaze during her time here. And so that puts her up to 117 in her career, and I believe that also is her 22nd of the year.
And Baker once again showcasing her worth for this Eagles team, as this time they face off is won by the Huskies. Gashel trying to go one-on-one with Lengel, just kicks it out to Kinney. She'll work it out. It's a bit far outside. Here's Sierra Hill. Back over to Gatchel. We're just shy of 4.5 minutes left to play in this third quarter. Here comes Sierra Hill. Trying to work it across the middle, looking to do it herself, and she rips it through the strings. Sierra Hill just beat her defenders and got right to her spot. And the lead's now back up to 3 for University of Southern Maine.
Sierra Hill tried pushing it on the far side over there at a little bit of a lower angle, maybe where she could have had a better chance at finding someone driving through, but it was quickly cut off by an Eagles defender. So what does she do? She pulls it back out, wraps around the shooting circle a little bit more, found the open space, and absolutely drills it into the back of the net.
Yeah, great looking shot. The hat trick for Sierra Hill on the game. And she's, again, showcasing her worth for this team. That now puts her at 24 goals on the year for the Huskies, just second behind Caitlin Diapolina, who has 33 on the year. She did not join the team today. But this team is showcasing why they are so deep up and down their roster.
Yeah, and that's one way to answer the momentum push that the Eagles were having. Just come back and up the score once again. That'll kind of drain the Eagles' momentum a little bit. So it's Baker back in there again.
Baker and Hill facing off once again. Bemke tried to tip it up and into the stick of Baker, and Baker's going to take off. She can really just press the turbo button and do some magic things as well. As Natalie Wynn controls the ball coming from Baker. Here's Gracie Gardner on the left-hand side, just trying to look for any opportunity here. Bemke kicks it out to Baker. Benoit trying to set the screen, and she's whacked on the play by Haley. And that's a card will be coming her way.
So another power play coming up. This time, Haley is responsible off of that contact. This one going to be a yellow card. So I believe a 2-minute penalty coming up.
A big opportunity here for the Eagles. It seems like they've had some momentum here, but the Huskies have been able to counteract any sort of blows that the Eagles have come out with. But nonetheless, again, very timely mistake for the Huskies. As we talked about throughout this broadcast and throughout the season, this Husson team is not a team that you want to give any sort of time to get back into.
No, and this one was lined up out at the 12-yard mark, or circle rather, so won't get a free chance at a shot there. But regardless, playing on the power play with an opportunity to bring this game back within 2 and kind of build that momentum back up.
Martinez cuts it into the middle, tried to bounce it in, but Slavic right there once again. A great heads-up reaction play from the goalie. As we see Natalie Whitten just trying to give her some sort of pressure. The ball is still loose. Just hucked and nearly put out of bounds. Maynard could not corral it, and it will go back to the Huskies.
Yeah, I definitely thought that Maynard was going to let that one fly out. We've seen Lavaskic have a few different passes today that have kind of been off the mark. We saw Layla Martinez pick one off. We saw Bemke get control of one. You see that and it hits the ground. Oftentimes you just let it go.
Brittany Hill trying to cut it right up the field. Gets it over to Kaya Gatchel. Maynard playing one-on-one defense with her right there. But Maddie Kinney will just wait for her team to come and support. Gets it back out over to Gatchel. She'll work it around. Here's Sierra Hill. Now Eliza Pattershaw. Looks like we had another violation on the play.
Interesting. I wonder what it's going to be a card here.
The card looks. We have Anna Byers, a captain from Milford, Connecticut, going into the penalty box. As we're going to assess the play right here.
Yeah. So now, 2 women up for the next 41 seconds are the Eagles, and I think you got to make quick moves down this field right now with the reduced amount of defenders out on the field. Get it to Langle. She's done well in transition all day.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, with this kind of opportunity, you need to work the ball up as fast as possible. Eagles return the ball over, so it goes back to the Huskies. Now 48 seconds now in that penalty box. Just over 2 minutes left to play in this third quarter. Hill working up the right-hand side. Madison Kinney will just continuously work her way around the goal. We've seen her do this so many times throughout this game. This is where Coach DiRepo likes to have her, just allowing her to survey the defense from the best angle possible, as she is the leading assist getter.
Well, and look how far out they're playing now. Like they're just trying to kill the penalty off right now. Surprised not to see a little bit more pressure from the Eagles. There it is now. Benoit's going to pick it up.
Haley back into the game after her penalty is up. Now Garda trying to take off here. Has a little bit of room to operate. 2 defenders on her hip. Loses control of the ball. Ball still loose. Scrum forward down there. Sierra Hill takes a spill into the stick of Benoit.
A lot of contact there, so interesting to see what the call is here. They're going to turn it over. And the penalties are released, so they're back out.
Both teams full strength now as Byers checks back in for the Huskies. Haley just kind of take it upfield, gets it into the stick of Brittany Hill. Now gets it over back to Byers. Now back all the way down to Kinney. Thought about trying to find the cutting Burnell into the middle. Decided against it. Here's Pattershaw. Sierra Hill with the hat trick for her team. Would not be surprised if she took another shot here before the third quarter ended. Kinney gets it out behind the goal once again.
They can run out the rest of this quarter if they'd like to. Shot clock a little bit higher than the game clock is right now.
Hill tries to find a cutting Gatchel inside, and she puts it over the stick of Emma Began. And that's now 5 different Huskies that have scored in this game.
This time Gatchel working from this close side near the edge of the shooting box. Able to round herself around the defender. And we've seen it all day, Sam. Just these cuts and these feeds to the middle have made it so easy for them to score. It's really hard as a goaltender to take on that one-on-one situation. And Emma Began has had to face it several times today.
The Huskies reached 10 first in this game, now up to double digits on the game. It's very interesting to see the Huskies. Logan, it seems like whenever the Eagles come out with some sort of momentum boost from a timeout or any sort of play, the Huskies have been able to counteract, and they've been able to do so very well.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth we've seen here today. Just teams answering and scoring, and obviously USM's had the edge. Be interesting to see if Husson can make this a little bit more interesting here towards the end of it.
If there's anything we've learned over the course of this season, Max, and Logan, is that we do not count out the Eagles at any given point. Doesn't matter how many goals you're up. This is a team that will continue to fight to the very end, and counting them out is a huge mistake.
Absolutely, and they're going to fight. You will watch this fourth quarter, and it'll be the most aggressive quarter of action that they have played in this game. But they have got a lot of work to do, being down 4 goals here, and with the way that the Huskies are playing and the fantastic offense that they have had in this second half so far, But looks like it's going to be a 2-minute penalty and power play opportunity for the Eagles, so they'll run the last 20 seconds of it, and they'll come out in the fourth quarter with an advantage as well.
Yeah, and that's Kyle Gatchel into the penalty box for the Huskies, who just had that goal for the team. In the top 3 for assists, ground balls, and caused turnovers for Huskies. Having her not on the field is crucial.
Yeah, and this one's going to be a non-releasable penalty. So if the Eagles move quick and score, they can have another opportunity with the power play in the fourth quarter.
15 seconds left. The Eagles looking to just move fast here as they pull the ball out. Baker gets the ball, gets it over to Gardner. 4 seconds left. Looks like they might just let the clock run out here.
Yeah, a little bit surprised to see that.
And through 3 quarters of action, the Huskies with a 10-6 lead over your Eagles of Husson University. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back for an interesting fourth quarter on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Just set to get underway here for the final 15 in this ball game as the Huskies have a 10-6 lead over the Eagles. Max, if you're Husson, you're playing from behind and just kind of playing on your heels for most of the game. With these last 15 minutes, what's the game plan trying to get back into it?
Well, obviously, if you're the Eagles, you got to play your best game offensively and defensively. You're down 4 points. You're facing a deficit that, isn't the craziest deficit we've seen in the game of lacrosse. We've seen the men's team come into the fourth quarter down 16-0, but 4 goals is not going to come super easy against this Huskies team. So really got to dial up your best plays, take advantage of this power play opportunity coming into the fourth quarter. Can really get this comeback jump started. And then on the defensive end, you really got to clean it up. I feel like a lot of cuts have been making their way into the shooting circle for the Huskies that have just been unnoticed by Eagles defenders, and that has really hurt them.
Now we've got the Eagles just working it around the crease right outside, but Noy trying to cut it inside, do it herself, brings it back out. Good defense by Brittany Hill, kicks it back over to Natalie Whitten. With the checked in Olivia Johnson in her face. Martinez gets whacked on the play by Haley. And it looks like, it looks to have a free position opportunity for Layla Martinez.
Yeah, I was wondering if they're going to bring her out to the 12-yard mark. No, they're going to give her a shot.
Martinez will face off with Slavic in her way for her potential second goal. She scoops it inside and bounces it right inside the goal. A nice-looking play from Lila Martinez. And the Eagles now have brought the deficit back to 3.
So that's step one of this comeback, is take advantage of that power play opportunity. An unreleasable one, by the way, so they will still have the advantage coming out of this goal. But that was step one, is taking advantage of that. Martinez finds her way to the shooting stripe and drives inside, using her speed to outrun defenders, and then just nice little bounce shot between the goalie's legs. And this one back within 3.
Martinez, we talk about it all the time, both in basketball and in lacrosse. Her speed just makes her such a big threat wherever she goes in any sport that she plays. She can just turn on the jets at any given moment and just completely just lose the defenders in the dust. Just right there, that quick first step allowed her to get right to her spot. She bounces in the picture-perfect goal. As it looks, we'll have Baker and Sierra Hill facing off for draw control. Bemke fighting for it with Byers. Scrum for the ball. Bemke comes out with it. And a great draw control possession for the Eagles.
So you've got 49 seconds left. If you're the Eagles on this power play, you got to move quickly and try and get every little bit you can out of it since it's unreleasable. They're going to bring it behind the net. I like that. That's something that has worked well for them today.
Bemke tries to cut inside. The ball just a little too high on the shot. And it goes back to the Huskies. Defensive intensity will be interesting to see what they'll do here with only 22 seconds left in this woman-up opportunity. Zlavic trying to find somebody. She'll find Lizzie Haley on the left-hand side. She'll just try to take the ball up herself. Just cutting up the middle, gets past 2 defenders. Gardner looking to meet her right near the middle of the field. And Haley gets away. Bemke right there trying to slow her down as she finally gets it away into the stick of Sierra Hill. And the Huskies had a little bit of opportunity for a fast break moment there, but nothing happening. They'll just reset their offense.
A good focus and concentration by the Huskies making their way down the field here. That was some tough pressure that the Eagles were putting on. Nonetheless able to get it to the best player, Sierra Hill, and reset this offense.
Captain Anna Byers tried to bounce it into the goal. Good stance from the Eagles. Beacon just trying to rifle it up the field into the stick of Martinez, bounced out. Now Johnston boxes out and into the stick of Lizzie Haley. And the Huskies get the ball back after a costly turnover. Here comes Kitty. Again, just really working around that, just around the goal, behind the crease. As Byers will kick it out to Sierra Hill.
She's going to have a one-on-one here, decides not to take it and pass it around.
Kitty looking for somebody trying to find somebody cutting across the middle. Byers a little bit of room here. Tries to go inside. And the stick moves. She bounces it into the goal and celebrates with her teammates. That's goal number 11 for the Huskies, and the lead's up to 4.
Yeah, and it looked like Benoit and Heth were trying to cut her off and stand in her way, and she just drove right through the both of them, put the stick up high, put it in a place where it was unable to be touched. Did a great job controlling the ball in that stick, and then finally bringing it down and laying the goal into the back of the net past Began.
I believe that's now 6 different Huskies that have scored today. Sierra Hill, Reagan Bouchard, Eliza Pattershaw, Kaya Gatchell, and now Anna Byers. Excuse me, that's only 5. Excuse me, my math was a little bit off there. Nonetheless, it will stay. The lead will be 4-4 Huskies. 11-7 here. Just over 12 minutes left to play.
Yeah, that math thing happens to the best of us. That's why we're in this program.
Yeah, to quote the great Jeffrey Hope, if you're a NESCOM, you don't like math, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, happy to get those classes over with early in my college career.
You said it, man. As the draw control is nearly won by the Eagles. Looks like we might have some sort of violation here. Yep, it will go back to the Eagles.
Bemke doesn't have a lot of open options, so she's just going to take off. Someone's got to help her out here. She might just take it behind the net, though.
Would not be surprised as Martinez now. Trying to go one-on-one with Burnell. Gets it back over to Lengel. Has a bit of room, just continuously working the ball around is Husson. Just trying to find that one crack of the defense as Benoit tries to go inside. Thought about it. Great control with the stick. Kicks it back to Martinez. Gardner cuts across the middle. Martinez goes inside, gets it back over to Gardner. Gardner circling around the goal, gets it back outside. This is Bemke. Whacked away by Pattershaw. Whitten trying to scoop it up, and she does. Saves the possession for the Eagles. Uses the Baker screen. Circles around the right-hand side, gets it back over to Martinez. A little mishandle of the ball. Martinez will gather. Shot clock is at 30. Eagles still a little bit of time to work with here. As the ball is into the stick of Whitten, she tries to find a cutting Lengel. That one knocked away by Hill. Baker trying to scoop it up. A scrum for the ball. Haley right there, but into the stick of Bemke. And once again, the Eagles will try again.
They're going to work quickly now, 13 seconds. Your best play has to come up here. Might be Martinez driving to the net.
Martinez trying to do it herself. Goes inside. And it looks like we have a violation on the play as Martinez is working inside.
I think that was best case scenario, but she's still going to have to get this shot off really quick here.
Yep, 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Martinez looking for goal number 3 of the game. She does it herself, just a bit too far right as the shot clock expires.
Be interesting to see if they call that on net. They do, so another 90 coming up.
Man, that is big for the Eagles.
No, they're
never mind.
going to turn it over. Yep, referee looked like they had signaled for a shot clock reset.
Lengel trying to play keep away with the stick up high up in the air, knocked away from Burnell. Checking it down is Martinez. And that was double teamed on the back end side of the field. Here's Carrier, pressured by the defense. Tries to scoop it over to Sydney Heth, loses control of the ball, still loose. Martinez is getting whacked around into the stick of Burnell. And here comes Bouchard with some room to operate. Good heads-up defense from Maynard to slow her down. As Byers will just find Hill, trying to cut across the middle here. Here comes Pattershaw. She'll throw her way behind the goal into the stick of Kinney, trying to survey the defense here as the ball is just completely rifled over the head of Byers, and it goes back to the Eagles.
So that's a good defensive possession put on by the Eagles there, but now they're going to start doing something with it. Like you said, down 4 points, 9 minutes remaining, time is winding down, and you scored early in this quarter, but gave up the answer to that score real quickly. Now with less than 9 minutes left.
As Maynard knocked down Maddie Kinney on that left-hand side of the field. And the ball will stay with the Huskies. Pattershaw thought about going into the middle there, decides to pull it back out. Hill looking to make a move inside. Made the defender miss. And she looks like she rivaled it through. Yep, they counted the goal. Sierra Hill with a beautiful move. And just puts it right through the strings.
Sierra Hill with her 4th goal of the day, and that one was a snipe from the far outside line there. You see most goals in women's lacrosse come inside that shooting circle, but not that one. That one was an overhand shot, high to high, over the left shoulder of Emma Began. And looks like the Huskies are well on their way to closing this game out.
Yeah, the way they've been able to respond to any sort of conundrum that the Eagles have thrown at them has been absolutely incredible. They've held their character on defense and have just not let up on the offensive side of the ball. Logan, if you're the Eagles, you're playing at a point now in the game, or at least for most of the game, that you're playing from behind. Now, if you're the Eagles, what are some things you can do to kind of just claw your way back into this game with a little bit of time left?
Need their best play right here on this possession. Try to get a quick score because we saw what they did with the momentum last time. They scored a few goals after that. So all they need is that one and see what they can work off of it.
The snow/rain is coming down now for the field. Now it looked like it was calming down for a bit throughout the game, and now it is back.
Yeah, expecting a relatively big snow rainstorm tonight. So I believe that's kind of making its way in now. We saw the early flashes of it, and now it's really starting to pour down. It's getting colder out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, the weather Yeah, the weather definitely plays a huge, kind of a pretty crucial role, it seems like, depending on how bad it's coming down. Of course, there's no thunder yet. Nothing bringing the boom yet in terms of the weather for the Eagles here, as Witten will continue to work the ball around. Continuously trying to find somebody. That's Maddie Benoit. Has some room to operate here. Thought about it. Lost the ball. We got some sort of violation on the play. I believe this will be a possession for Benoit.
It'll be a possession reset here at the 12-yard mark.
Possession will reset for the Eagles. Baker now looking to do it herself. Tries to find a woman. That's Natalie Whitten, right-hand side. Looking for any sort of cracks in this very, very tough iron wall that is the Huskies' defense. As Bemke gets the pass from Whitten and rips it through the goal. Man, a great setup from Whitten once again. And Bemke with her third goal of the game.
Well, we expect to see that from Whitten in the passes that she makes as being the Husson all-time assists leader. But that was an incredible job by Bemke to juggle that pass in this conditions, this weather, these conditions, and still find a way as she was running to put it on net and into the back of the goal. And so that's the kind of momentum you need if you're the Eagles. You brought it back within 4 once again. But it seems like that's sort of where they've been stuck all day, is that 3-4 goal range. We saw them claw within 2 before, but quickly answered by the Huskies. So the Eagles hopefully this time will do a better job at not allowing those quick answers.
If they can get past that threshold of 3 to 4 goals, this is definitely still a very winnable game. I mean, in this day and age of lacrosse, I mean, a 4-goal difference is not that big of a deal for any team nowadays.
Not at all. 4 goals it can be surmounted in less than 2 minutes if the offense is good enough, and I believe that the Eagles do have that capability, and they've got 8 minutes to work with.
Now, for the Huskies, Logan, you believe the smart thing that they probably want to do here is just run up the clock and just kind of hold on to the ball for as long as they can, and then maybe score a goal to kind of just put this game away.
Right, and they can't get too complacent. They got to be able to, still attack because, like you guys mentioned, a 4-goal lead isn't too much. A lot of teams can do a lot of things in a 4-goal deficit. So, if you're USM, keep attacking, pushing the pace, controlling the clock in your own zone.
Yeah, we've seen in the past that Husson can come back from any sort of lead, lickety-split for a lack of a better term, but this is an Eagles team that has been so resilient throughout the year.
Another thing they've got to do, Sam, is get the ball out of Sierra Hill's hands. She's got 4 goals on the game. She's able to drive past your defenders. You've got to keep her on that far outside circle. Do not even give her a chance to take a shot.
Yeah, it's no surprise that it seemed like the game plan for Coach Ashley DiReppo, the Husky team, was allowing Sierra Hill to get to her spots, and she has done so with ease throughout this game. But you're absolutely right, Max. You got to really keep her out of the action as much as possible. But, of course, Eliza Pattershall with 2 goals of her own, Bouchard with 2 goals of her own, and then obviously Byers and Gatchell contributing with some scores. So this is still a very deep team that can hurt you from anywhere, but Sierra Hill has been the catalyst. As you try to find a cutting woman inside, that was Kinney, and nearly had the ball just shy of the goal. Man, that would have been some sort of highlight play right there.
Yeah, that was a real close play, but nonetheless, it bounces over the net, rolls out. Eagles will have a chance now to get it down the field. They've got to work fast in transition. They know how aggressive this transition defense of the Huskies has been.
Maynard having the right idea, just trying to push it up the field with as much as possible, trying to find any sort of numbers here. Good transition defense for the Huskies. And the Eagles will just reset and try to find any sort of holes here in the defense.
Yeah, they're going to find their groove offensively. We've seen in games past that they're just so good at cutting through the middle and making plays work. We haven't seen too much of that today. They do have 8 goals, but their offense has not been as smooth as it has been in games past and in these conference games. And so they really got to try and figure something out here with 7 minutes remaining.
Gardner corralling the pass, gets it over to Benoit. Benoit's been relatively quiet throughout this game. As Benoit gets it back out to Gracie Gardner.
A lot of quick movement happening here of the ball, just trying to move that defense. They're not moving all too much. You'll see them all kind of sort of sneak in a little bit closer to that shooting circle here, though. Here they go. They're going to collapse now.
Benoit trying to find a cutter, looking to do it herself. Kicked it back over to Lengel. As Lingo kicks it back out to Gracie Gardner, trying to cut it across the middle. Got walloped on the play, collided with Kitty. And it looks like there was a violation on Gardner on the play after the collision with Kinney.
Yep. So stays with the Huskies after that nice save.
Slavic has been active in the goal today. I mean, of course, led up the 8 goals, but has been super successful throughout her campaign here. Donning the blue and the gold for the Huskies. Really came into her own her junior year, and now has been playing. And now, as the starter for the Huskies, has been playing some absolutely fantastic minutes in the goal.
Which is a huge reason why their team has been so successful this year, both overall and in conference. USM is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the LLC, or the LEC rather.
Sierra Hill looks like the Huskies just playing keep away for this last 3 minutes of this game. Maybe one more goal could ice it, just a bit too far right for Bouchard. That would have been her 3rd goal of the game. Possession stays with Southern Maine. And now, if you're the Huskies, Father Time is on your side, so there's nothing wrong with running out the clock here, but one more goal could potentially ice the game. But if you're the Eagles, you got to step up the intensity here.
Yeah, they were definitely looking for it on those last few passes right there. I think they do want to just close this game out, but the Eagles, you're right, absolutely need to put on that pressure. It's something that we failed to see from them versus MMA in that 1-point game. Came down to the last minute and a half, and there was no pressure. They kind of just sat in the alley on the far side and didn't make any sort of move to try and get the ball back. So see if they learned from that mistake in that 1-point game.
Yeah, and right on cue, Leah Martinez just absolutely clocked Eliza Pattershaw outside of the line there. It looks like there will be a possession, just a regular possession reset for the Huskies here.
Looks like that rain's finally turning into solid snow.
Snow coming down as well as the time of this game. 2:28 left to play. Ball's corralled by the Eagles. Benoit, the great heads-up play to corral it. Here comes Martinez looking to turn it upfield. Turns on the Jets. Has some room to operate here.
Shot has got to be quick on this possession. No more than 1 or 2 passes.
Has a little bit of room to operate. Thought about going inside, but decided to pull it back out. Looking for something smarter. Here's Bemke. Bemke trying to turn it in. Nothing happening there. Benoit mishandles the pass. We'll go around to scoop it up. Wynn near the top now, looking to circle around the left-hand side. Gets swarmed by defenders. Here's Gardner. And Jordan Lengel now goes behind the goal to Martinez. And just bats it over to Bemke. Bemke, sweet spin move inside, looking to do it herself. Lost the ball, collides with Haley. And both players are down.
Oh, man.
Man, scary collision right there for those two.
That was Bemke. Was trying to do a reverse shot there. Just really trying to get anything to go.
Bemke is up and under her own power.
They're calling for the trainers.
Lizzie Haley is hurt. We're going to take a quick break here, folks. As Haley gets assessed, we'll be right back on Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back after the scary collision here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. It's nice to see Lizzie Haley up and under her own power, visibly shaken up on the play. But nonetheless, the collision will result in a free position opportunity for the Eagles. It'll be Kate Bemke looking to tack onto her day. She just lets it fly and rips it through the strings once again. Bemke, her 4th goal of the game, gets it past the stick of Lislavic, and the lead's down to 3.
Yeah, that was a nice shot off of the right post there. Bounces off and just finds its way into the back of the net. So, Sam, never say never. 3 goals they are down. 1:21 remaining in this one, but the Eagles are going to have to be nearly flawless if they want to come away with a win here.
It's got to be, as you said, Max, pretty much perfection for the rest of this game. Now, just a few, if there's anything that can do it, it is the Eagles. Now, you're just going to win some faceoffs, and just get that ball downfield as fast as possible to set up any sort of offensive opportunities here. It looks like it'll be Maddie Benoit in the faceoff circle with Anna Byers now, with Bemke and Pattershaw on the left-hand side, and Baker and Hill on the right-hand side. Draw control is won by the Eagles. Benoit trying to move fast here. Has two defenders right on their hip, loses the ball, trying to pick it up. Yep. There'll be a penalty on the play. That'll be on Madison Kinney. Eagles just trying to play fast here. Just over a minute left to play in this game.
They've got to work really quickly here. There has got to be zero hesitation on the shots.
Baker thought about trying to find a cutting woman. Martinez now. Wooden now. Looking for any sort of opportunity here.
Gotta go.
To do it herself. Trying to find the cutting Baker into the stick of Pattershaw. And now, barring any sort of miracles here, that should very well do it for the Huskies if they remain just to hold on to the ball.
Yep, all they got to do now is get into the offensive zone and kind of chill out in those alleys, and that will be the game. Really well, hard-fought battle by both these teams. Huskies show why they've been so dominant in their conference and really throughout their entire season.
With 26 seconds left to play in this game, the Eagles will fall to 4-6 on the year, and the Huskies will continue their great play and go to 8-4 in their fantastic campaign as well.
And the Eagles next will play Thomas back here at home this time, where they last won 13-3 when they played down in Watertown. So that should be an interesting game. That'll be their final home game of the season.
And the next game for the Huskies, they'll be playing Keene State on April 12th. That team is the best in their conference as well at 8-3. If they can win that game, they will be tied for the number one overall seed. But with that, that's going to do it here for us on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. The Huskies coming away with a 12-9 lead or win over the Eagles in this one. For Logan Martin and Max Sturm, I'm Sam Miller saying thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Husson Eagles Sports Network.